This podcast is brought to you by Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Kangaroo Fern is Australia's independent video and podcast management agency with a mission to help individuals and entrepreneurs to start their own podcasts and harness the power of podcasting.
A Kangaroo Fern production.
A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate.
Thing we can do is just get stops and run. Stops and run, guys. Push, push, push every time.
Extra session with Kiko Malikdem tackles everything about the world of sports, especially the one close to the host heart, basketball. Updates, discussion, clarification, name it. Extra session has it. Extra session with Kiko Malikdem.
Okay, good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday once again, and of course, it's another episode of your favorite podcast, Extra Session with Kiko Malikdem, here in Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate Philippines. In continuation of our quest to feature the future of Philippine basketball, we have here with us two of the new members of the LaSalle Green Archers, and they will be eligible to play in the next season of the UAAP. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the Phillips brothers, Michael and Benjamin Phillips. Good day, Mike and Benj.
Good day. Magandang
Hello,
umaga
sir.
po.
Magandang umaga.
Yes. So, how are you guys doing right now? Especially, basketball action was stopped temporarily last March because of pandemic.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay naman po. For me, it's just every day, just trying to get better each day. Kasi during this pandemic, medyo mahirap, like during the first part, everybody was kind of didn't know what was going on. It was sort of a big kind of panic, and so for me, I just kind of used basketball and my schooling as something that kind of grounded me, as well as just talking to my family and just finding my faith in the Lord. So I just feel like just having that grounded, having that something I can hold on to during these times of uncertainty, something that really helped me a lot.
Absolutely. And I think, para sa akin, it was definitely humbling to kind of have the season stop. I mean, for a whole world to shut down, it definitely was interesting. And just like everybody else, hindi ko alam what was going to happen next, right? And so we really kind of focused on what can we do every single day to get better. And so for us, with staying close as brothers, staying close as a family, and then staying close as a team. And so, even with our Zoom workouts, gusto ko nung, Zoom workouts to see the lottery that we have is just like really, really strong, even through virtual, right? I mean, we have, different practices, different weights, different speakers that come and talk to us. So I think, you just have to make the best out of what you can do and just pray every day.
I see. Now, for the benefit of the people who are wondering, who are Michael and Ben Phillips? Especially your names just floated in the sports news after, LaSalle snagged both of you. Can you describe how you guys play and more information about yourself, such as height, playing position, and who's older than you between the two of you? Because at first glance, I thought both of you are twins.
I'll let my kuya go first. He's the oldest one. So.
Salamat po si Michael. So I'm the oldest of three sons. There's three Phillips brothers, and so there's me, Benjamin Phillips. I'm 21, and I'm the oldest. And then Isaiah is our middle brother. He's 19, about to turn 20. And then obviously there's Michael. And so kind of, we're just a normal, family from America. We've been playing basketball all of our lives. Our father played Division I in the States at Eastern Kentucky University, and then he played overseas over in kind of Europe and in different countries over there. And so that's really where we get our basketball from, because our grandfather played as well. And so we kind of just had this Phillips, lineage of very rich basketball. And, I played in high school, all 4 years at Fairfield in Ohio, and I was more of a kind of a power forward, / center there. So that's kind of what the LaSalle community can expect. I want to transition more into a rebounder and an energy, almost like Rudy Hatchfield, who I study a lot. So I do a lot of video on him and our mentor Danny Siegel, and so that's kind of where I'm positioning myself. And so whatever the team needs, whether it's an energy guy or someone who can, talk from the bench. That's kind of my play style. I'm a loud talker. I help, kind of, spread the defense and call things out. So that's kind of who I am.
How about you, Mike?
Your podcast journey starts here. Take the first step on your side. Hustle with us. It starts with a great domain. Get your podcast web host with Beard and Coffee at www.beardandcoffee.com.au or find us at Facebook.
Yes, sir. I share the same sort of qualities as Ben. But for me, in terms of just sort of our growing up, taga Cebu ang lola ko, pero lumaki, or halata naman lumaki kami dito sa America. So we never really got to experience the Filipino culture and learn the language. Actually, me and my brother are natuturo pa rin the language Tagalog. So, that's na kung mali ang Tagalog namin. So, but bahala na. But, so yeah, like it was just this opportunity of being at LaSalle. It just gives us that chance to really find our Filipino roots and really kind of see, what everything is about Philippine basketball and Philippine tradition. And so, for me, every time I step on the court, especially for LaSalle, I just try to give everything I have. And my focus, ang aking focus for this season is just to really give everything I can to our seniors because I know this is going to be their year, their final year. So I just want to give everything I can to them, whether it be, like Ben said, talking, rebounding, just anything, just kind of being that tough-nosed, hard-nosed guy that other team doesn't really, want to keep, having to deal with. And so I just really like being that sort of annoying guy that just gets the rebounds and just really is that energy guy, like Sabini Ben.
Yes. So basically, you said earlier, Ben said earlier that he looks up to Rudy Hatfield. Have you seen his? There was a clip in YouTube wherein he did a wrestling thing. Something like that.
Wow.
Like a wrestling promo. Yeah, he was thanking everybody. They just won a championship, and then he was thanking the Lord, and then everyone else. And the last part, and most especially, I would like to say thank you to Rudy Hatfield. He was this energy guy, He was this cool guy. Yeah. So basically, Ben, you play the center forward position, most likely. How tall are you?
So right now, I'm standing without shoes. I'm kind of like in the 6'4", 6'5" range, so, but I really I take a lesson out of the many Filipinos that I've studied, right? It really isn't about how tall you are. It's about how much energy you have and really about, where the positions are. I'm paborito ng NBA players, Tim Duncan, Shaka, Dennis Rodman, right? Just because I like the way they know the positions of where the ball goes. And so, whether it's, power forward, even kind of like the wing kind of guard position, I'm able to kind of fluctuate in there. It really is whatever Coach Derek or the team asks me. If I need to, come off the bench and just be a rebounder, I'll do that. If I need to just stay on the bench and talk, on the floor, I can do that as well. So really, whatever Coach Derek and the LaSalle team needs, that's what I'm there.
How about you, Mike? How tall are you? And, I assume that you're playing the guard forward position?
Are you a podcaster who's getting frustrated because your show results are not in your favor? Are you losing hope because you feel like podcasting doesn't help you generate income? Are you a podcast service provider who is struggling to meet your clients' expectations? If yes, head on to www.podkai.com. Book a call with the founder of Podkai Media, Kai Villanueva, and get clear and proven strategies to earn through podcasting.
Yes, sir. Without shoes, I'm 6'8", and so hopefully, with my shoes, I can get away with a few more inches on the stat sheet. But yes, sir. I'm more of a sort of forward. I'm more forward, sort of power forward, and sort of that small forward as well. I know for our team this year, like Ben said, I'll just whatever position that coach asked me. I know we're very strong in the forward spot as well as in the guard spot. So yeah, I'm definitely some more of that sort of front court guy.
Yeah, I could see in your body build, Ben is more of an inside player while Mike is more of a defensive guy. slasher, wingman,
Yes.
something like that. So I heard earlier that your dad played basketball before. So I was going to ask, how did you get hooked up playing basketball?
Oh wow! I mean, I think ever since we were maybe 3, 4, or 5, like the first toy that we had was a basketball. You know, every time we were around our grandfather, you know, he dribbled a basketball, and so we've been training, you know, ever since we could dribble. You know, and so we've been training ever since we've been in elementary leagues, you know, middle school leagues, high school leagues, and so basketball was just always in our family. You know, basketball is like a volleyball, and so we actually all played volleyball too in high school. You know, me, Isaiah, Michael. And so, you know, volleyball was a really good cross training for basketball, you know, with the jumping and the positioning. And, you know, even with LaSalle, you know, like I was practicing with the volleyball team and the basketball team at the same time. So that really helped, you know, with the conditioning. But, you know, even our mom, she played a little bit of basketball in her upbringing. But, you know, we get a lot of it just from our dad and our grandfather.
I see. So, so your Filipino side came from your mother, right?
Yes,
I
Paul.
see. So, have you been to the Philippines, or this will be the first time that you'll be going to the Philippines?
Go ahead, Mike.
Actually, Paul, we were there this past year. I've been there ever since I think last October, and then my brother and I we were both there in what was it been around January?
Around January, and then we left around July-ish when the pandemic started to close things down.
I see.
Yeah.
So
So we still had that chance to sort of, you know, kind of see our culture before everything kind of got shut down.
I see. So being brothers, you guys obviously had a chance to play against each other. So who normally wins one-on-one?
Okay, I'll take it. So, hey, we have a rich rivalry against each other that dates back all the way, like when we were all kids. Because actually, Sabahay namin, salabas my basketball court in the backyard, and so he's not gonna tell you this, but him and my other kuya Isaiah, they would always team up on me. And they would bully me, and then they would go bragging about our parents and say, "Oh man, you know this and that." But we go back and forth all the time. But I would say actually, I think Ben can agree with me on this, is that actually the most talented, the most sort of skilled Phillips brother, you know, that has that God-given gift of basketball is actually Isaiah, our middle brother. But due to sort of, you know, tell him a bit more about Isaiah.
Yeah, so Isaiah, you know, he actually is probably the most fluid, kind of the most dynamic brother out of all of us. You know, he's around 6'6", 6'7". You know, I'm the oldest, but I'm the shortest brother.
Yeah.
And so,
never hears the end of that.
yeah, and so I always get that a lot. But Isaiah, you know, he had a lot of kind of foot injuries, a lot of leg injuries, kind of when he was younger, and so that shifted him from basketball and volleyball to boxing. And so his idol is, you know, Manny Pacquiao, and so he would train and do his fights all the time. And so he's actually an undefeated amateur boxer here in the States. And so, you know, he actually trains, you know, our team, the LaSallian team, every Thursday, or well, it's Thursday Filipino time, Wednesday American time. He trains us in boxing, and so every week we have boxing with Isaiah.
I see. So, so basically, well, I was expecting that Michael gets bullied, you know, since he's the youngest.
It's the bunso.
Now, how did LaSalle, you know, able to snag both of you? What was the factor that made you guys say, yes, I will play in LaSalle?
Yeah, so I'll take it first, Big Mike. So really, Michael was the one who was playing basketball, you know, during the scouting, right? And so after high school, I decided to, you know, take a break from basketball and focus more on business, right? Because, you know, ang paborito, you know, kung anything is business, right? So whether it's, you know, writing books about business or just doing business deals, like that's kind of what I do. And so Michael was playing, you know, down in Florida, and that's where kind of he, you know, got onto the circuit and he was recruited, and you know, Sir Danny Siegel kind of reached out, and that's what started the process. And when, you know, the management and the recruiters kind of brought Michael over, I just came along because I'd never been to the Philippines. So I wanted to see. Yeah, I wanted to see what. So it was Michael, me, and then my father. And when I got there, you know, it was about Michael. You know, I wasn't supposed to play. It was really about Michael. And so I said, well, I don't want to leave him here by himself because he was, 17, 18, he was young, right? It's the boon. So I don't want to be away from, from him for a long time. And so, he was there for a little bit. And then I worked out an arrangement with my school in the States to let me study abroad at LaSalle. And so when I came, the coaches and the manager were like, why are you coming? Kind of like, what are you doing here? And I just, well, just give me a chance. And, I can kind of prove what I have. And so that first practice, and Mike might not tell you this, but the very first drill that we had, you step our first drill, I dunked on him in a fast break. And so everybody was like, whoa. And so after that, that's kind of what, got the Phillips brothers together.
I see.
Right.
Now, I assume that you have watched UAAP games. Now, so you guys will be playing in the UAAP, which is considered the most popular collegiate league in the Philippines, and of course, you will be playing for LaSalle, another popular team, collegiate team. Do you feel pressure coming in?
Hey, Mike.
So you want to start a podcast, or perhaps you've already started one, but you're still unclear on how you can actually make this podcasting work. No worries. That's why we're here for you. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Join our network. Contact us at info@kangaroofern.com because we're stronger together.
For me, it's more of I definitely always feel pressure, whether it be from it's a good type of pressure from my parents, from my kuyas to always sort of give everything I have, but for me, and I think Ben can agree as well, it's more of an excitement, this kind of leading up to seeing, man, the UAP is such a brand of basketball that me and my brother have never really seen before. I mean, I think it's safe to say that just comparing to the States, the UAP has a lot of things the States doesn't have. And I would be like the physicality, I mean, just the fan, just the atmosphere. And so my biggest thing is just how rich and how proud the Salians carry themselves. Just the whole entire community. It's something I've never seen before in my life. And so just being part of that community, just getting the ability and the opportunity to bleed green and white and just give everything I can to the South community. That's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to.
Of course. And I think just to add on that a little bit, I think that LaSalle really, really found a gem with Coach Derek, right? Because I know that up until then, getting out of the finals and we had known that kind of coaching staff, and we knew how hard it was for the LaSalle community because, Jamie Malonzo, Al June, Andre, they really, gave their best. But I think now with Coach Derek, we have a more intense focus on young defense, right? So young defense, young under control. Because see, a lot of the UAAP film that I watch, it's very, very intense, right? From UP to UST to Ateneo, and I would watch the Ateneo games just to see how, Coach Tab, would actually run his system, almost like the Spurs. And so I said, okay, if that's who we're playing against, then I'm glad that we have Coach Derek, to help us kind of compete at that high level.
So with that patented Kumar press.
Yes. Well, Coach Derek was the first coach of LaSalle that gave the school its first 2 championships. Actually, it was a grand slam, but due to technicality, the third title was forfeited. Now, did you get advices on what to expect playing in the UAAP?
So I think that the Philippines is a very tight-knit community, and then within the Philippines, the Phil-Am community is also really tight, And so I think that some of our players that are at some other schools, for example, Byron, Shaggy, Allman, para sa Ateneo, he really kind of helped us really kind of understand what we were walking into, right? And so, Coach Danny and even, Boss Rafi, Villavicencio, he really, really helped us understand the layout of the Philippines. And I think that it was good that we were together because at first Michael was by himself, right? So we kind of was thrust into that. But now that we're together, we understand things and we can do it together as brothers. It makes it a little bit less hard to kind of go through.
Yes. Now, what they say that when you're a varsity player, especially in the Philippines, you're this kind of celebrity or a star. Did you ever feel this way, and how do you handle this celebrity status?
Go ahead, Mike.
For me, just being sort of that celebrity, I could never really get a grasp of that term. Because when it comes down to it, even when we were there and we would go to the malls, people would come and take pictures, and I would say, "Hey, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing today? You want to go get a grab to eat or anything?" Because I never really put myself at this level in terms of, oh, I'm here, I'm better than you since I dribble basketball or anything like that. And so, the beautiful thing about basketball for me, especially in the Philippines, basketball is like a religion.
Yes.
Pero it's spotting a window and sort of this connection that allows me and my brother and countless other Philams to really connect with the Filipino people through this thing we call basketball. And so just an opportunity, like I said, just to really be a part of this game and sort of just meet so many people and have fans. I guess I call them all family. I never really have fans. I call them all family. So
Yeah, I think, para sa akin, it really was about kind of just understanding the Lasallian community first. Like, because I listened to, a lot of Ben and Ben, right? I mean, that's kind of like a lot of my favorite kind of, music that I started listening to. So Katang Isip, Leagues. I mean, I'm talking everything, So, I think really that brought me to kind of understand that even though basketball players are kind of viewed as celebrities, everybody kind of can join in on that family, especially as Lasallians. And so, we only got to see a little bit of that, before the pandemic hit. And so I think when everything kind of gets back to normal, we'll get to experience that a little bit more. But I'm really excited just to kind of, help the Filipino community a lot and kind of put, the UAP on a more national stage. Because see, when I saw Richie Rivero's dunk on, it was ESPN or something. I said, wow, that's what, the level of Philippine basketball is. So, people like to think they can kind of just come over here and just run things. But there's a lot of strong homegrown talent. Yeah. The first practice, Balti hit me with an elbow to my chest. And I was just like,
a tough dude.
And I just couldn't breathe for a minute. Then you have Alden coming around, and then he'll shoot like 10 threes in a row.
No, Alden. You do that
sneaky
box out. I forget what the term is. It's gulang or something like that. Gulang. Woo! That is no joke. That's nothing like that in the States. I mean,
Well, Balti is, is around 6'7". He might appear to be lean, but man, his upper body is strong.
Very strong.
Yeah. Now, how did your parents react to this when you were being recruited to play for LaSalle?
We are Independent Podcast Network. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Would you like to hear your brand while supporting quality podcasts? Contact us now at advertise@guerrillapodcastsyndicate.com.
Okay, let me get that one, Ben.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm the youngest. I'm the baby, right? And so my mom, ang nanay ko, she hated the idea. As much as she loves the Philippines and her heritage, she did not want to see her baby go. But my dad was like, "Sabi ni ang tatay ko, send him. Go ahead, go. Let him get in the water, test the waters, and be a man, grow up." But my mom, she got around to the idea, especially having just such great guys as Banjo Albano. He actually came from the Philippines to New York. He's based in New York. He flew down and sat on our couch in Florida, and just really kind of painted the picture of what Lasallian, everything it is to be a Lasallian and just sort of UAP basketball. So it took a little while. I'm sure she's okay now, but it took a little while for her to come around.
Yeah, I didn't want him to go either. I mean, I was on my mom's side. I said, why are we going to the Philippines? We had never been there. I had no idea what was happening. And I see the 10-minute remaining. But when we got over there, my dad actually met, Sir Rafi and Sir Terry and the management team with Chief Justice and all those people. He felt a little bit more at ease because it really welcomed us into the family. I think that he felt more at ease letting his sons go to a different country with people he had never met before to play basketball. And now that we progressed, we're here now. So we don't regret it at all. It's been the best decision of our lives.
Absolutely.
Now, in each team, there are different groups within. Who do you think? I mean, where do you think do you belong to? Are you the part of the serious ones, the nerdy ones, the bullies, or the happy-go-lucky ones?
Ben, you got that one.
So I definitely think that I'm more of one of the nerdy ones. because I love to study. I want to get my degree. Right. I'm finishing up my degree of my undergrad in the States, and I'm starting my master's, and I want to get my doctorate with LaSalle. So I want to do the entire thing. So I'm always reading something. I'm focused on books. I'm focused on business. And so I do love basketball, but I'm more of an academic and a scholar type. So kind of serious, kind of nerdy, but
Nerd. No.
Yes. And how about you, Mike?
For me, I just really love the game of basketball so much, like I said, because it has the ability to build those relationships. And so I'm sort of more a relationship guy. I always want to see what my teammates have going on outside of basketball, because everybody's going through things. Everybody has their own difficulties and struggles. And so I just really like connecting with my teammates and kind of finding out their story and just building that team chemistry off and on the court.
So what are the things that you need to improve on as you move up to playing college ball?
So I think for me, it's really about getting stronger to play, against, a lot of the bigger, front courts, because even when I talk to my strength and conditioning coach, Coach Marlin, every day, I want to be able to guard the imports. I want to be able to guard that floor position, even though I might be undersized. I'm a little bit strong enough to kind of bang with those guys down there. So working with that, my conditioning and also like my left hand. So I think those are the things that during the pandemic I can work on, and then also just continue to study my Tagalog.
How about you, Mike?
For me, Paul, when I actually first arrived, I was sort of under the wing. I was blessed to be under the wing of Danny Siegel, one of the greats of the PBA and the South. And he really helped me kind of sort of focus and sort of laser, have a laser focus about what I need to improve. So I really need to improve like sort of my defense and sort of that sort of tough, rigid defense that Coach Derek is implementing. And just sort of being that all-around guy for the team in terms of just having a concrete, offense. When I get it, I can contribute to if they need me to. But for me, more structured a lot around the defensive side of basketball.
I see. So what do you think is your advantage over other players in your position?
I think my advantage over people is that you're not going to get inside of my head. What I see a lot of kind of other players, especially when they come from different countries to the Philippines, people are grabbing you. It's more physical. They're talking to you. When I play, I lock everything out and I'm focused, right? Nothing can get in my head. Even if you break a bone or get in my arm, my head, nothing's going to stop me from getting that basketball or getting that rebound or doing whatever Coach Derek tells me to on the sidelines. So I think for me, it's just having that laser focus to never stop and never quit.
I see. Yeah. Now, what you'll be wearing, when you play basketball, what number or jersey number will you be using? And what is the story behind it?
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, actually, Ben, you go ahead and talk about 42 and kind of what that means with that and everything.
Yeah, and so I think my father always wore 44, right? So he was 44. And I always liked having 42 because I wanted to be close to my father, but he was always 2 steps ahead of me. And so I picked 42 to always remind myself that I need to get closer to my dad, because he had paved the way for us, right? I mean, going the first, to D1 college, going the first to play overseas and actually being that role model to us, we're nothing without our dad. And so having 42 for me, just means that I can follow in his footsteps.
I see. How about you, Mike? 42 also?
I wish, but for me it's actually 25, and it goes one more step beyond our father, and it goes into my grandpa on my dad's side. His number is 25 all throughout high school.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss an episode by clicking on the subscribe button now. This podcast is possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
And unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years ago, but he is really where I get most of my passion and just my love for the game. I was incredibly close to him. I woke up every day and he was there writing down a play or what I needed to work on for the day. And so through 25, I really live that number really is the legacy of my grandpa, who has contributed so much to me and our family. And so every time I look at that number, I just really think back to how much my grandpa has really impacted my life in basketball. So absolutely.
I see. Now, before we end, there are questions. Are you single or taken?
I'm married to the game. I'm married to basketball right now, so focusing on that.
Single ako for me.
Same
For me,
answer.
yeah.
Yes. Now, do you have any message to your family, friends, and of course the LaSallian community?
Yeah, I mean, from the humblest of my heart, and I'll let Michael have time to say his as well, but I really just want to say thank you for welcoming me into the community. I was scared, I was nervous, I didn't know what to expect, I felt alone, but as soon as I walked into our compound and I walked in, the gates of Henry C. Hall, and I actually saw all of the LaSallians there with open arms, I was extremely thankful to Brother Bernie, all the way to all my professors. Just thank you for welcoming a kid from America into your home and giving me such a platform to be able to give back to you guys.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, I know you're very busy right now, especially with, like what you said, Mike just came from a practice. So I would like to say thank you for the time. This might be short, but then, people will be able to learn more of you once the season starts. And I do hope that you guys would, success will come to you, not only in sport, but of course, after playing basketball. And of course, hopefully you could play in the PBA soon. Soon. Okay.
That's the dream.
Yeah. So do you have any shout outs would like to greet before we end?
Mike, do you have any shout outs?
That's a hard question. Ang dami. I'll shout out. Huh?
I said maraming shout outs.
Maraming salamat. For me, just all my teammates, especially Balti and sort of the seniors, Algin, especially Encho as well.
I was able to interview Encho 3 episodes or 4 episodes ago.
Young Derrick Rose.
Yeah. Encho.
Yeah, I would say Sir Boss, Rafi Villasencio and his family, they really helped me. They're kind of my family. When I was coming here, Sir Danny Siegel, Banjo Albano, I mean, just so many people have helped us come here and just really shows the spirit of the Filipino people, how helpful they are.
Okay. So, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we end, I would like to have a shout out to my friend Jeff Ang and belated happy birthday to his wife, Clarice Ang. Shout out to my lovely wife, Leo, and the kids, Kyle and Kio. And of course, we're running out of time. This wraps up another episode of Extra Session with Kiko Malikdem here in Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Thank you once again to the Phillips brothers. And we hope this is not the last time that we'll be able to talk to you. And of course, watch out for season 83. I'm going to watch for how you guys play. I'm excited for the LaSallian community. Good luck to your basketball career and studies. And guys, as always, before we end the show, games are always exciting if there is extra session.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to visit our website at www.guerrillapodcastsyndicate.com, where you can subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. You can also join the conversation with Guerrillas RV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please consider on making a donation to help us keep making the podcast you love. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production.